You're not lazy, you're sleep deprived, and it's quietly destroying your brain. Right now, as you're watching this video, there's a very real chance that your cognitive performance, memory retention, and emotional control are already compromised because you haven't been sleeping the way your brain desperately needs you to. And it's not just about feeling tired. Sleep isn't rest. Sleep is reconstruction. Scientists used to think of sleep as a passive state, a time when the body simply shuts down to recharge. But modern neuroscience paints a radically different picture. While you sleep, your brain turns into a high-efficiency repair shop, memory processor, emotion stabilizer, and detox center, all at once. The truth is, some of the most important things your brain does happen only while you're asleep. And missing sleep? It's like skipping brain surgery that was scheduled to save your life. Let's go deeper. Inside your skull is a 3-pound universe of nearly 86 billion neurons. These neurons communicate through trillions of synapses, forming the networks that make you who you are. Every day, as you learn, work, stress, and adapt, your brain builds and reshapes these connections. But here's the catch. This neural activity produces metabolic waste. Think of it like brain pollution. During the day, this waste builds up, especially in areas like the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, the very regions responsible for memory, decision-making, and self-control. If this waste isn't cleared, it accumulates, impairing function and increasing the risk for long-term neurological disorders. And guess what? The only time your brain effectively removes this toxic buildup is while you're asleep. That's where the glymphatic system comes in, a recently discovered brain-wide network that acts like a cleaning crew. While you're in deep sleep, especially during slow-wave sleep, this system becomes highly active, flushing out waste through cerebrospinal fluid that pulses through your brain tissue. It's as if the brain shrinks slightly during this process, creating more space for the fluid to wash away harmful proteins like beta amyloid, one of the main culprits associated with Alzheimer's disease. So every night you don't get enough sleep. You're not just tired, you're falling behind on brain maintenance that's crucial to your long-term health. But the cleaning process is only part of the story. Let's talk about memory. Have you ever stayed up late cramming for an exam, only to blank out the next day? That's not just bad luck, that's bad neuroscience. Studies show that sleep after learning is absolutely essential to consolidate new memories. In fact, sleep before learning is just as important. It prepares your brain to absorb new information by rebalancing the synaptic strength of neurons, a process called synaptic homeostasis. Here's how it works. When you sleep, particularly during non-REM stages, your brain goes into a kind of offline mode where it replays the neural patterns associated with what you learned that day. This replay, especially during a specific phase called sleep spindles, strengthens important connections and prunes away the less relevant ones. It's like editing a documentary. You keep the valuable footage and cut the rest. Without this process, your learning becomes shallow. You remember fragments instead of frameworks. And it's not just facts that get processed, it's also emotions. Your amygdala, the part of your brain that detects threats and regulates fear, is tightly linked with the prefrontal cortex, which helps you interpret and respond to those signals. When you're sleep deprived, this connection weakens. The result? You become more reactive, more anxious, more impulsive. Sleep acts like a therapist for your brain. During REM sleep, the dreaming phase, your brain replays emotional experiences, but without the same levels of stress-inducing neurochemicals. It's as if your brain is reprocessing the emotions, detaching the trauma from the memory so you can wake up with a clearer perspective. In one groundbreaking study, participants who were deprived of REM sleep after experiencing emotional events were significantly more likely to develop symptoms of anxiety and depression. Sleep isn't just healing, it's protective. And yet, in our society, sleep is still treated like an optional luxury, something you can sacrifice to be productive. But the science couldn't be clearer. Lack of sleep doesn't make you stronger, smarter, or more successful. It makes you slower, less focused, and far more vulnerable to disease, chronic sleep. Deprivation has been linked to heart disease, obesity, stroke, diabetes, and even cancer. But perhaps most disturbingly, it significantly increases your risk for neurodegenerative conditions, especially Alzheimer's. And here's a haunting truth. Beta amyloid plaques, those toxic proteins that accumulate in the brains of Alzheimer's patients, are cleared away almost exclusively during deep sleep. The less deep sleep you get, the faster they build up. In other words, sleep may be the single most powerful defense you have against dementia. Now I want to take you back to something I said earlier. Sleep isn't rest. Sleep is active. It's transformation. Think about it. During sleep, your brain isn't just cleaning itself. It's learning, editing, regulating, protecting. It's making decisions about who you'll be when you wake up. And that's not poetic. It's biological. So if you've been treating sleep like an inconvenience, a weakness, or something you'll catch up on someday, I urge you to rethink that story. You wouldn't ignore your heart if it stopped beating. So why ignore your brain when it's begging you for rest? Because now you know better. And that knowledge gives you power. The power to change your habits, to protect your brain, to prioritize one of the most fundamental biological processes we've ever evolved. So here's what I want you to do. Tonight, when you lie down, don't just see it as going to bed. See it as brain work. Set a routine. Turn off screens at least 60 minutes before sleep. Keep your room dark and cool. Go to bed and wake up at consistent times, even on weekends. Give your brain the time it needs to do its job. And tomorrow morning, you won't just wake up. You'll reboot. Your mind will be clearer, your emotions more stable, your memory sharper, your decisions wiser. Not because you worked harder, but because you slept smarter. And that is what sleep really does to your brain. If this video helped you see sleep in a new light, share it, because someone you care about is probably still sacrificing their brain without realizing it. And if you want more science-backed insights on how your brain really works and how to make it work better, subscribe to the channel. We're just getting started.